Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Breaking down tonight's MLB main slate for tonight on DraftKings. I do have my cheat sheet ready because it's such a huge slate, so I thought we'd have a player pool locked down. You can also take a look at Plate IQ afterwards, and then we can take a look at my model and see who that likes. I can also leave a shareable link in the comments below if you just want to have access to look at the model if you're interested. Also, announcement that NASCAR is going to be on Saturday night this week, so I'm going to have my video out tonight because qualifying's at 5 and the practices are this morning and in the afternoon. So NASCAR is not going to be on the usual Sunday this week, so just a heads up, it's going to be a Saturday at 7:30, I believe. So just be on the lookout for the video tonight. And remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate that. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at cpen_16. That's with 2 N's. And let's get into the slate. So number one pitcher tonight for me is going to be J Happ, 9,200. He's a very heavy favorite going up against a team who strikes out 26% of the time versus lefties. So I think we have a lot of strikeout upside here, and he should be able to get the W, especially with the Yankees putting up a ton of runs tonight, in my opinion. I think they should, and Vegas would agree with that. And then we have Jake Arrieta, 8,800. It's a low Vegas total. It's a good pitcher's park. It's a weak lineup versus the Marlins. It's a good price, and Miami strikes out 25% of the time to righties. So I think he's in a fantastic spot. I know he's not a big strikeout pitcher, but Miami can make just about anyone look good, so I don't mind Arrieta at all. And then if we're going to go a little cheaper, Brad Keller at 7,100. It's a low total, and after a few decent guys in the Indians lineup like Ramirez and Martin and Santana, the Indians lineup is just a dumpster fire. I mean, we got Stamets at hitting at the end, Naquin, just plenty of guys that you can strike out, and you know, most people have been able to have success versus the Indians lineup this year, and Keller's not the worst pitcher in the world, so I think he can have success versus the Indians. At catcher, I hate the catcher position. There's never anyone I really want to play, but Gary Sanchez obviously leads the way. I just don't know. I don't think it's going to be very easy to fit him in. He's close to 5,000, but I think he's going to probably score the most points at the catcher position tonight. Like I said, it's going to be tough to fit him in, but he's got the most upside, so he went triple dong one day, so he's the only one with that kind of upside at this position. Then we have Buster Posey at 3,900. He's going up against a battery versus splits righty and Chad Bettis, so I think that's a sneaky play. I don't know if people are going to play Chad Bettis. They might be interested because it's San Francisco, but he's really bad, and I don't know. I mean, it might be worth a shot just to get some of these big bats in. I'm not against it totally. I don't think he's very good, but I can understand if you want to get all these good bats in, so it's worth a shot. So I would add Chad Bettis in the player pool at pitcher, possibly. And then Robinson Chirinos at 3,800. He has power, but he strikes out a ton. But I do like the righty versus lefty matchup. And at first baseman, Freddie Freeman, 4,600. He's leading the way for me. Wheeler will struggle with lefties, and he owns him in his career. He's got a 526 average, 2 home runs, and 10 walks, and that's in about 30 plate appearances, so it's a decent sample size. So Freeman absolutely owns Wheeler. And Edwin Encarnacion, 4,700. He's another guy with good EVP versus the pitcher. 438 average, 3 home runs, and 7 walks versus Wade Miley. And then Mitch Moreland, he might be my favorite first baseman just because of the Sox implied total tonight. Andy had a really good game last night. He's 4,500, 6.3 implied total here, and he crushes righties, and I just love Boston tonight. At second base, Rougned Odor is my favorite play, especially when factoring in price. He's 3,800. He's pretty cheap, and I love his home run chances versus Spires. He's got 243 ISO versus righties, and first Spires' main pitch, actually, and then he's got 2 home runs off him in his career as well. So lots of good BVP tonight if you're interested in BVP. Robinson Cano, 3,700. He's similarly priced, but I want to attack right with the lefties, and this is a good park for lefty power. So don't mind going Cano, but I much prefer Odor. And Chad Pinder at 4,400. Don't like his price, but give me those Oakland righties versus Smiley. And I know I don't have Altuve listed here, but he's obviously in play. I just can't list everyone here. And then third baseman, Matt Chapman, 4,600. This offense is cooking, and I don't see it stopping here. So Matt Chapman's going to lead the way at third base tonight. He's been hot as well. Nolan Arenado, 4,500. People don't play the Rockies on the road, which I understand why, because they're not very good on the road. But the park sucks, but Nolan is always in play versus lefty. 377 ISO and just crushes them all around. So it could be a sneaky play there. Prefer Chapman, though, because they're similarly priced. Then Yulieski Gurriel, 3,600. This is our cheap play at third base. He should hit the middle of the order, and I really like all these Houston righties versus Miley. And at shortstop, Marcus Semion's going to lead the way, another athletic bet, 4,200. I just love Oakland, and he should be leading off versus lefty. So Semion's better versus lefties. And Xander Bogaerts, 4,400. Everyone from the Sox is in play, and this is a cheap way to get some exposure to him. So no problem if you want to go with Xander Bogaerts. Elvis Andrews, 4,200. All the Rangers are just too cheap tonight, in my opinion. It's a really nice, cheap stack. Fire gives up a ton of powers to both sides. And he's in his career, he's 7 for 23, 2 home runs off him. So we have some nice BVP again. A lot of good BVP tonight. And if we go to the outfield's pretty fun tonight. It's loaded. So I just have the whole Boston outfield listed here, and they're pretty expensive, but they're all in awesome spots tonight. I can't really pick one. If I did have to pick one, it'd be Benintendi just because of the price. He's 4,600. You're gonna get like 800 savings from Mookie Betts. But they're all in play tonight, all excellent plays. 6.3 implied total, and it's just the top stack of the night. And Aaron Judge, he really stands out, 5,100, just second highest total of the slate. And Judge crushes righties, 238 ISO, 387 WOBA. And versus his main pitch, the pitcher's main pitch, I can't remember off the top of my head. He's got a 405 ISO versus Giolito's main pitch. So definitely like Aaron Judge tonight. And then Joey Gallo and Chris Davis, they're the same price, and I think they're in the same exact spots tonight. They have a ton of power, but Chris Davis has been absolutely hot. 4 home runs the past 2 games, but they both have great matchups. I know Gallo has about 2 home runs off Fires as well, so it's a good park. So these 2 guys are excellent plays. And it's going to be tough to pick your players tonight in the outfield because they're all in awesome spots. Then the mid-range outfield, we have George Springer leading the way, 4,300. Too cheap, in my opinion. He's going to be leading off versus a lefty, and that's Springer's specialty, the old leadoff home run versus a lefty. So, like Springer tonight, Shin-Soo Choo, 4,200. Texas is really a nice value stack tonight. I wouldn't leave Choo off. Should be leading off versus the righty. Then Brett Gardner at 4,100, leading off for the Yankees tonight. He should put up a ton of runs, so I like his chances of getting a few runs, a couple hits, maybe a walk. So, he also has he's got a little bit of home run upside. Don't mind him. And then in the value outfield, Stephen Piscotty leads the way, 4,100. I know he's not technically a big value, but he's pretty close to the value. I usually like to get the guys under 4,000, but I like his price, and he's sitting third for Oakland, so I have a ton of interest there. Ender Inciarte, 3,700. I don't love attacking Wheeler, but as a lefty, he does have the advantage versus him. Then Brandon Nimmo, he's just always in play leading off versus a righty. Okay, so the core plays right now are going to be J-Happ, Odor, Simeon, Benintendi, Springer. And then, this can change throughout the day, but just for right now, these are the guys that are popping up as good values. Impactful weather is Washington and Pitt. I was interested in Patrick Corbin, but I'm seeing like 50-60% chance of rain during the whole game, so I'm not going to take the chances there when I think like J-Happ, probably a little more. Vegas sheets right above me. You can see the over-unders, usually heavy favorites, what time the game start. And the top stacks tonight are going to be the Red Sox, Yankees, Athletics, Rangers for value, and the Astros are pretty decently priced as well. Oh, and I did make a note, Eduardo Rodriguez, I do like tonight as starting pitcher as well. I don't think he's too bad. And we can add Chad Bettis to the list if you really want to load up on bats. All right, so now let's just take a look at Plate IQ. Go into some of the numbers there. So I do like J-Happ a lot going against this White Sox lineup. There's really nothing too scary about it. I am concerned about Tim Anderson and Jose Abreu. My model loves Tim Anderson, and he does hit lefties much better. But I think he does strike out a decent amount, and he doesn't have much plate discipline. But the guy I guess I'm really worried about is Jose Abreu. He does have a ton of power, but he will strike out a lot. And this lineup's just overall really bad. We have a 146 team ISO, 26 K rate, low WOBA, low walk rate. I think Happ can really have a good time versus this lineup. I wouldn't be surprised if he reached near double-digit strikeouts. And that's why he's my number 1 tonight. Let's talk about Jake Arrieta going against this bad Miami team. 8,800. So if you look, they have a 158 team ISO, 25% K rate. It's just, I don't see them doing too much damage. They might give up Arrieta might give up a home run, maybe a couple runs, but other than that, he should have no problem navigating through this lineup. And then Brad Keller going against the Indians. I'm an Indians fan, so it does hurt always picking on them, but they just don't have a good offense this year, especially without Lindor. So obviously Ramirez is the main threat and Martin, but other than that, this bottom half of the order is just absolutely trash. Naquin, Perez, Miller, Stamets. So I definitely think there's some strikeout upside here, and I don't see them doing too much damage. And it's such a low Vegas total, so really I guess I don't really like Keller tonight, but he's a good way to get some salary relief. Then the stacks, Boston just grades out really well versus David Hess here. I know David Hess had a good start to the season against the Blue Jays, but I think that was an anomaly. He is a very bad pitcher, and as you can see, there's a lot of green here. Benintendi's really standing out just because of the price, but Mookie Betts crushes, Moreland crushes, JD, Bogarts, even Devers is in play. I wouldn't play Pedroia or Bradley or Vasquez, but this whole lineup's just in play. I think they're gonna, they might score double-digit runs tonight. Wouldn't surprise me. Orioles bullpen's really bad as well, so they're the top stack tonight. I see multiple home runs, just plenty of runs scored. Let's talk about the Yankees going against Giolito. Don't like them as much as the Red Sox, obviously, just because I think this lineup's a little top-heavy, but, I mean, it's still a great lineup. Brett Gardner, I know he doesn't have elite numbers, but I definitely like him chances of getting on base, and just have some stolen base upside. I think he should score some runs tonight. Aaron Judge being my favorite play, Luke Voigt's in play as well, and Gary Sanchez, it's just going to be hard to pay up for him. Don't even leave Gleyber Torres out of the mix if you're going to do a full stack. And if we talk about the Athletics a little bit, going against Drew Smyly in Texas, good hitting conditions, good ballpark for hitting. All these guys, this actually lineup is a little bit better versus righties, but Drew Smyly's nothing to be scared of, and they can still crush lefties. Marcus Simeon's good, Chapman, Piscotty, Davis, Pinder, even Kana. So I like this whole lineup here. And if we go to the other side of this game, the Rangers, these guys are a lot cheaper. And I think it's an easy way to fit in some other bats as well. Mixing these guys in, Shin-Soo Choo grades out well. So does Odor. Really like Odor tonight. Mazzara, I know I don't have Mazzara listed, but he's in play as well. Joey Gallo, he's pretty much boom or bust, but I do like his chances to boom tonight versus Fires. Wouldn't be surprised if he homers. I know that's not a hot take or anything, but really like his chances of going deep tonight. And then a stack I'm not as high on is the Astros, but I do think they're still in a good spot. Just not as good as a spot as the other guys. But they should be lower owned. George Springer is obviously my favorite play out of this bunch, but Altuve's fine. Brantley, probably not going to do the lefty-on-lefty matchup. I know Brantley doesn't, Brantley can hit just about against anyone, but not too interested there. Gurriel I'm interested in, and so is Carlos Correa. I know I don't have Correa listed either, but I think he's in play too. Then if we take a look at my model and see who it likes, let's see. There we go. So it's really liking Tim Anderson tonight, which is, I did say I did like Tim Anderson, but other than that, you guys can just take a look at it, pause it, whatever. I don't want to go through this whole thing. It does weigh it heavily on recent performance, so that's why guys like Freddie Galvis are really popping up, but he's been hot. So you guys can take a look at that. I'll show you the pitchers really quick. And the pitcher numbers are still wacky. Don't expect these guys to score 47 points or whatnot. But just take a pause at that if you want to take a look at that. But anyway, that's going to be it for the video, guys. Remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. Feel free to comment below. You can follow me on Twitter at cpen_16. That's with 2 N's. And good luck today.